over on Disney Plus. We've got a new comedy series called Not Suitable for Work. And here's a clip.
Good evening, gentlemen.
This party's insane. If you'll excuse me, I see at least 15 ladies I need to talk to before my beta blocker wears off.
You have a crush.
I can't have sex with a coworker, let alone my boss.
Well, can I have sex with him? He's so hot.
Abby.
People are either productive or dead weight.
If you're not steamrolling someone, you are getting steamrolled.
Don't know if you remember, Hannah, there was this comedy called Friends, which had this group of young New Yorkers living in neighbouring apartments. Do you remember that? Have you ever wondered why hasn't someone made the new Friends? Well, you could say someone has now, and that someone is Mindy Kaling, who was famously in the American version of The Office as Kelly Kapoor, and very good she was too. She also wrote quite a lot of the episodes, and since then, she's just had an incredibly successful career. So this is the third series that she's written kind of based on her own experiences. So she had one called Never Have I Ever, about her teenage years. She had another one called The Sex Lives of College Girls, which was about her time at uni. And yes, now we have Not Suitable for Work. And I thought, this is like Friends, but not as good as Friends. But I got to say, it did grow on me. So yeah, basically, this group of 20-somethings, you've got a medical student called Kel, played by Nicholas Duvernay, but he actually wants to be an actor. We've got a Nepo kid called Josh, played by Jack Martin, who, because of his dad, he's been employed as a TV production assistant. Okay. You've got a kind of finance guy called Davis, played by Will Angus. So they live together. And then across the hall, there's a fashion stylist called Abby, played by Avantika. And she lives with her best friend AJ, played by Ella Hunt, who has just arrived from Boston. And she is also going to work at the same place in finance where Davis worked. And you can tell there's going to be some romance on the cards. But there's also quite a lot about their working lives, which we didn't particularly get in Friends, did we? And also this is much more diverse than Friends. I mean, it has to be, really, doesn't it, these days? So it's had some not great reviews, I would say, but I actually thought it was funny. I quite liked the characters. I was invested in it. So, and Carling is clearly she's just hugely talented. She keeps churning out these shows. So, actually, I quite enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not sure if I'd stick with it, but I think it's worth a look, especially if you like Friends and you're like, oh, someone's done something similar. So, yeah, cautiously recommended. What did you think of this, Hannah?
At first, I thought this was a massively brave decision by somebody to do this because, as you say, it has all the markings of Friends, which of course is, and it was and still is, phenomenally successful. So the idea of trying to recreate something like that just seems, blindly stupid, doesn't it? But actually, and I suppose to a degree that is what they're doing. But it is different, as you say. It's more diverse. It's got it looks at different things, despite it still being a comedy. And as Carling says, those time periods are just so juicy. And I suppose what she means by that is that it's an interesting age to navigate, isn't it? You're an adult, you're supposed to be grown up, you're navigating a new world of work potentially, and living with friends and having relationships. You're still really young, aren't you, in a way, emotionally, mentally, you're still growing. And so I suppose you get a bit more of that sense in this. It is funny. It's different funny, but as I say, because the premise is so like Friends, I think you're going to get a lot of people watching this feeling, I don't know if this is just as good as that, but I think you almost need to kind of cut free from that thought and see this as something just completely new. And I think and I think you will enjoy it. Do I think it's going to be... We're going to be talking about this in however many years? I'm not sure we will in the same way, because it's well-trodden ground, but it's nice viewing.